All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here, having a little bit of a downdraft and definitely some change in character for this market here. So again, if we go back to yesterday, we had that big pop like on basically hot air for Globex. And then we basically right before, around 7 a.m. we started to fade. And we gave it all back in the first, or really like an hour or two before the open at 9:30. Then we had a little fade. We did close off the lows. But one of the things I talked about last night, I tweeted about this is, the last 5 months, right, if we had a sell like that, 50 points off the highs, usually what's going to happen is you're going to get that big FU pump in the overnight. So if you bought puts at the lows, you wake up, guess what? We're up 35 points and, you get blown up. And that didn't happen. So a little bit of a fade this morning. So something of a changing character here for the market so far. Now we're still holding the 20-period moving average. That has been holding this whole time here on the ES. You can see on the SPX as well. You can also make a case. I know we've kind of not kept these trend lines on here for that lower trend line, but we're just playing around earlier, and you could like duplicate this, connect those highs, connect those lows, and that area is held. So right in this area, markets are still perfectly fine. It held all the levels that I needed it to hold today to be bullish. I've been telling you guys 52, 51.90. We actually got spiked a little bit below that. So that's been kind of the master level, and 51.80 would be like the last big line of defense for me before we have to start really considering, okay, there's bear control now, and bears actually have a foothold here. And we didn't quite get there, but you can see this was the FOMC day. So a break of that, especially a close below that, would be significant, not only just because you can clearly see it's a significant chart level, you can even drag it back to there, right? But because it's the FOMC, right? So if that gets negated, that speaks volumes about the fundamental makeup of the market as well as the technical. I did figure we would bounce here. We had the JOLTS data this morning. Again, I talked about this, said we probably would bounce because we're down 100 points in the last 24-ish hours, right? And 50 points just in this morning alone ahead of a data release, right? The price action and yields yesterday made it so that this, even if the JOLTS data came in scorching hot, they wasn't sneaking up on anybody, right? There was hedges in place, right? If you take a trend line right here, we already got that tool out. If you take the trend line like right here, same area that I was just looking at, 51.80 area, maybe a little bit higher, but the ES is right around 52.40. And you can even just, take a little box, highlight it if you want, as like a support zone. Look how much time we spent there, right? 1, 1.5 days, another pivot, and then another full day of consolidation. You're not going to break through that. It's a straight shot, unless there's like a black swan. That area is not going to just get, they're not just going to concede that, right? Unless, something big happens. Something out of left field. So already down 50 points in that area. I figured we would, regardless of what the JOLTS data said, we were going to bounce here. And that's exactly what happened. Took all day. They kept us in it. They definitely made them work for it. Look at this range here. Look at what happened between, basically 1 o'clock and 3:30. Let's see, 52.52, and the low is like 52.40. It was like a 6-point range. It was brutal out there. So these regular trading hours, sessions have been a little tough. Get all the moves pre-market right now. It won't be like that forever, but that was the case. Bottom line, market is holding. What's the level I'm going to want you to look at tomorrow? Right here. Actually, let's zoom this out. That is 52.30. So that's my big line in the sand. If bulls can get back above that, everything's fine. That gets rejected. That right there, that was Monday's low. If that gets rejected, I don't think... Let me just add some time on the clock here so we can visualize. If that gets rejected, say tomorrow or later this week, whatever, I don't think we're going to hold this area again. So that's my kind of analysis right now. But bottom line is the market is still holding up. No technical problem. We can gap and go tomorrow. We get above 52.30. Everything's fine. So that is the long and short of it. And yeah, pretty simple. We do have a lot of Fed speakers this week. And we have NFP on Friday. That'll likely be pivotal. QQQ here today down 86 basis points. Watch that low. I mean, we got close to closing below that green bar. That would have been a negative. And my bigger line in the sand for the Qs is right down here around 433.75. We're still inside of this rate. Look, at Qs have gone nowhere for well over a month now. So we have not gone anywhere. That's a big line in the sand, though, for me on the triples. Russell 2000. This was getting hit harder. Again, yields up big. It's hurting the Russell more. Beautiful falling wedge that I did tweet out today as well. So hopefully some of you guys got that. Nice little breakout there. Good little pattern. But again, watch this for lower highs too. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but if yields stay strong, it's going to be hard for the Russell to advance. Dow here, that got hit as well. We closed below this pivot too. So 392.50 area, closed below that. Still hanging on to, look at it. They closed it right on the 20 MA. So they're hanging on to that by a thread, but definitely a little bit of damage there. I wouldn't want to see a close below the 390 area on the diamond. Still a lot of like daily chart support kind of down here around 385 and so on, but definitely a pretty good slice there for the Dow. Look at the weekly, right now we're looking at an outside move. Same thing with the spiders, Russell and Qs. Granted, we're still only, 2 days in, but just be aware of that right now. SMH here, so that was on the weaker side today, down 1.29. NVIDIA, again, we talked about that kind of little 4-hour bear flag that did play out, although, it came off the lows, and it looked like they were using this to hold the market up. Look at, I was talking about this in the trading room this morning. I said, if we get above 885, which is that little pivot there, the market will likely recover, and that's what happened. I mean, it took it all day long, but, it was able to get up there, and NVIDIA did lead, at least, to lead the recovery here, but definitely looking a little top heavy. Again, we still have sliced that trend line, and we are not back above it as of yet. So SMH here, be careful of lower highs. Right now it's still okay, still holding that 20 DMA, and that's what most things are doing right now, except for IGV, right? IGV had a pretty good breakdown today. No volume behind it, but I mean, you can't argue with price here. So definitely weak. We're holding this little pivot low right now. Watch out, if this comes up here and back tests this trend line, that wedge, it could be down here, and we could have lower lows in play for cloud software. So that's been a weak sector lately. Dow transports here down 1.15. Again, nothing terrible. Weekly pattern is still very good. So this is still very strong up move inside bar action, but definitely on the down, definitely on the weaker side, like everything. And we'll leave it at that for now. Interest rates here. So look at the 2-year. Even with, the 30-year ripping, the 2 was not up nearly as much. So you saw some positivity in the yield curves here. So you can see that right there. We'll see if we actually get follow through. That has not happened. Every time the yield curve starts to normalize, it just goes right back. But 2-year still hammering on this 4.7, 4.75 area. 5s was slightly green today, but came off the highs, as did the 10s and 30s. I'm thinking we probably need to do a little backing and filling. I know I've been bullish yields here, but it's not really like the breakout candle you want to see, right? So like if we look at the high here, 4.505, and we're closing at 4.50. Like not really follow through. I'd like to see it close at the highs. So yields might have to do a little bit more backing and filling. Who knows? Maybe the non-farm payroll comes in cooler than expected. That gives us a little bit of a, maybe we have to make a higher low or something like that. Like look at the TYX, like it just not in love with that candle. I still think the trend is up and they're ultimately going higher, but immediate short run, they could pull back a little bit. Maybe that gives the spiders a lift for right now. But yields still, overall strong. XHB, pretty good outside move. Again, maybe an island there, right? So gap up, sideways, and then outside down. It's still holding the 20 MA though, and the trend is up. So nothing broken yet. On XHB, what else is new? VNQ down 1.25. Still safe until we close below this white line on a weekly. XLF was down as well, down 22 cents. This does look a little tired here. It's way overbought and needs to correct, but as of right now, nothing to say it can't go higher. KRE is in much worse shape. KBE is in, I think, better shape just because of this pattern on the weekly. It's still really good for an advance, and it's well off of the danger zone down here. Broker dealer is holding up, so down today, but still inside of this green, so they can still go higher. Oil continued higher as well, so that technically got through my target. So I said 84.50, 85. There you go. We're right at the highs of the day too, 85.50. You're coming into some pivots now, right? So you're coming into some pivots. This trend line here, this, we're above that. Nice breakout. I'll give it a few days here to see if it retraces, because again, like my kind of area is, I'll just show it again. This fib here, this 618, by the end of the week, maybe we could pull back and it gets rejected, but we'll just give it a little bit of time. The next level though is for me, well, you got 88 right there with the 75%, but it's that inverse head and shoulder target. So we'll see if it ends up getting up there. It can definitely happen. I don't know if it goes in a straight line though, but all right, XLE, this is getting really overbought here. New 52-week highs, new multi-year highs, not at all-time highs yet. It might want to go up there. I don't know if it's going to happen right away. Let me see if I can just cut this down to a weekly to see if there's another. Yeah, there's kind of like a minor level here around 98, 98.50. It may get up there. This has definitely exceeded my targets here, at least for right now. I did think it would. I do think and have thought that XLE would make all-time highs. Just did not think that we would get up there this quickly and in a straight line. If you own it, if you own XOP, trail your stop. Just be careful with it. OIH got to that secondary target I talked about, 492. Next level after this is 350 and then 355. I don't think it gets through there. Ultimately, I think it's going a lot higher. But right now, kind of into some resistance, and it's still holding up okay. Uranium here continuing up. Look at CCJ here. Next level, I think we talked about this yesterday, right around 48. But big thrust on volume. So this might even get through that. And then $50. So good repair there for CCJ. URNM, next level is right around 54. And the NJ is at 28. So good day for uranium and uranium stocks. Nat gas, I'm just going to look at the K. Inside day, but Doji, after a big rally yesterday, we closed above the breakdown candle. I like that. You might need to consolidate a little bit, but I think this is poised for a move to 2. And then maybe 210, 220. Also in the seasonal period for a bottom here too. All right, dollar index did what we thought, right? We said 105, that was going to be resistance. You're getting a pause day. So far though, it's not getting rejected, right? Like when you come into resistance like that, you get rejected hard. If it's weak, if it's strong, it can just go sideways and then go higher. So dollar's still holding up. We'll see what it does this week. Gold's still holding up. Gold has just been a powerhouse here. And it doesn't care about anything right now. It doesn't care about rates. It doesn't care about dollar index. It doesn't care about stocks. It's just getting powered up here. A lot of demand from Asia, certainly having a lot to do with that. But it is on breakout right now. And it's testing 2,300. So psychological level right there. But gold is still continuing higher. Gold stocks continuing higher. I still think these pivots here will be a little bit of trouble for GDX. But it is acting well. The big winner on the day was silver. 4.6 right into this pivot high. If you can get a weekly close above that pivot high, I don't even care about this one. If you get it above this one, this was the one with the volume, and this is the one where it got the massive rejection. Weekly close above that, I think it's going to take off. Again, I don't know if it happens right away. We got NFP that could maybe jerk things back down later this week, but silver, pretty strong here. Platinum strong as well, up almost 3. Palladium, a little bit on the weaker side, but that's still okay. And then copper here continuing higher. So that exceeded my short-term target. And it's still holding up. So this can just consolidate inside of this green. And if it can do that, it can push higher. Lastly, coins here did fine. They did pull back. Again, a lot of freaking out going on with them earlier. But again, you could make a case you still have a possible higher low setup here. If you take this low out, that's where that would change. And then we would definitely say, okay, we're definitely in consolidation mode here, like a more lengthy consolidation. But right now, weekly chart's okay. You guys know my thoughts there, and I think it's still fine for now. The one thing I will say is you lost that nice tight bullish structure, and we did lose that green bar low from the 25th. One thing that's been pointed out here is if you look at let's use the Qs. Remember the green bar I was telling you about? That was right there. That's kind of like coinciding with that green bar on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, we talked about this in the trading room earlier as well. Maybe this was, kind of leading indicator here for the stocks, like it has been before. Something to watch there. But right now, again, no problems. Overall, I do think we'll get up to, I think we should retest 5230, unless, we gap down in the overnight. I'm not really expecting that. Let me just check the futures. Actually, yeah, we're holding up okay. We should at least go back and at least retest these levels here on the futures, 65 to 70. And then obviously the big level is, like I said, up here. It's 5284 or something like that on the ES, 5230 if you follow the SPX. But that's what I'm watching going into tomorrow. How the market reacts into that will determine where we're going here over the next week and possibly over the next couple of weeks. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I will see you guys all tomorrow.